guys, what's up? Victor999 here, and today we are doing the review of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. If you're unfamiliar, hey, I've been playing every Zelda game chronologically, and if I'm not mistaken, canon-wise, that means we're done with this series. I could be wrong. I am currently playing Hyrule Warriors, the definitive edition, so like, it's not over for me, but I think actual canon and lore-wise, I have finished all the games that matter. Anyways, if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and let's get into the review. Alrighty, so I played this game on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, Doohickey Mabob. Y'all know the one that I play most of these games on. So I used a Switch controller. It was very similar to the first original Zelda, like no issues. Some things were a little choppy and wonky, but like not the end of the world at the end of the day. I do have a gripe with the controls in the sense of when you're fighting different mobs and whatnot, but I think that's more of gameplay wise. So controls as a whole, I'll give a 5 out of 10. Not the worst thing ever. I didn't particularly enjoy it though. The next category we have is storyline and lore. Okay, this game's storyline and lore is kind of odd, but some things do matter. So storyline, Zelda gets put into a sleeping spell from this magician. Ganon's not in this though, okay? So it's a magician, like, but not like Vaati, where that's the main antagonist the entire game, just like a magician. No sign of Ganon. I believe a bunch of bad guys, if I remember right. I haven't played this game for like a month. This is a very late review, but I believe a bunch of the bad guys and bad people were trying to raise Ganon back from the dead. So anyway, the storyline is we have to go and get all these crystal keys to raise Zelda back from her sleeping slumber of doom. Anyways, the storyline of this game is not very deep. It's like literally the second of the series, so it's not giving a lot. There's not a lot of, you know, depth and content to it. I also just think it's kind of weird. Like, yeah, Ganon's dead, and I do wonder how he just keeps getting risen in every game, you know? But like, I like that he's not in this, kind of, just because it like makes sense. Like, he was defeated in the first game. So you may wonder who's the main antagonist in this game. I'm gonna tell you. I wouldn't even say the main antagonist though, because he's only at the end. So the final boss in this game is Dark Link. You know, that gives a little lore boost on the rating, is because this is the first showing of Dark Link. In this game, it is quite literally a shadow though. It's not like Ocarina of Time where it's literally a dark form of Link. But yeah, the storyline is just, it's very similar to the first one, where you go to one palace, temple, dungeon, next. It's not a lot. I wasn't like grabbed by the storyline or anything. I would give it like a 5 out of 10. The lore, like, Dark Link's there, and it gives us a little bit of lore, but like, it really wasn't anything to write home about in the slightest. So 5 out of 10 on storyline and lore. Gameplay. Okay, this is where I'm gonna get a little yappy, okay? Here we go. If you're unfamiliar, this game is known across the globe of being the hardest Zelda game of all the franchise. I 100% agree, okay? 100% agree. Let me tell you, I started this game and I literally was like, y'all are just being babies, you know? Like, you're just being babies. It's not that hard. Finished the second temple and immediately regretted that those words ever exited my mouth. So for most games, it makes sense for the progression of the difficulty to be quite linear, right? First, really easy. Second, little harder, and then the end is like the hardest part. Literally from the second temple on, night and day. Like Death Mountain, it was so hard, and for why? Why was Death Mountain so challenging? It's like the third thing to do. Anyways, besides the difficulty of this, because I could go on and on and on about how like night and day difference, like it's so unfair to the actual players of this game, because so many people just, they stop playing because it's so difficult. Like, how are you immediately supposed to get better at the game in that quick of a time rather than progressive, right? Like the final boss being hard, yeah, that makes sense. But the third boss being equally as hard, well, not in this case, but being much harder than the second boss, that's just weird. Okay, let's chat a little more about a different aspect of the gameplay. So this is another 2D side scroller like the first game. This game, when you are actively playing as Link, I don't know how else to word this. So if you're in a temple, if you're in a city, you are this giant, you know, Link. Like, it's really individual and unique to this game. You don't really see that type of Link ever again. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of unique. I like that. So the gameplay kind of consists of you walking through the world. So when you're walking through the world, call this like the traveling part of the game, not actively as Link, you are just a little 8-bit thing and you're traveling, and these mobs appear and you run into them. It enters you back into the world, and then you have a little mob fighting sequence. At the beginning, most people recommend running into these mobs and not leaving the sequence, you know, because you can jump over them and run away from them, but you're recommended to fight them because this game has a point system. So the more mobs you fight, the more more points you earn, and the more points you earn, you can get health upgrades, magic upgrades, and strength upgrades, which I kind of like that aspect because it's like an XP, you know, like you level up as a character. So I like that, and it wasn't anything weird as the type of gamer I am because I've played games like that, but I feel like if you're a Zelda only, like that's a little weird that there's an XP. Like normally you are always the same Link, but the items you get are upgraded, but this one, like, it's a new and improved Link, if you will. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Anyways, you fight the mobs, and then you can go into towns, and in each town, there's an old man where they teach you a new magic move, and then you go into the temple. So it's literally walk to the town, get your new move, heal up if you need to, onto the temple or palace or whatever, repeat to the next one. So it's just very copy, paste, you know, what you need to do after each temple. But honestly, with how hard this game is, it's kind of like nice where I actually know what I'm doing. In terms of the temples, palaces, whatever word, in every Zelda game, there are different words. The temples, I honestly did not have that much of a problem with, as in confusion and whatnot. I don't know why. I don't know if I've heard that they're challenging. I don't think I have. I think what's challenging is, once again, the mobs and the bosses within the temples, not necessarily the temples themselves. And then in each temple, of course, you get an item and you have to fight a boss. This game just has so many mobs that are not ever shown in a Zelda game ever again, and they're all pains in the butt. So there's just one, I don't even know their names because of course I didn't have the physical with the booklet and all that, but they throw axes and you have to get behind them, but to jump over them you have to get hit. Like you can't avoid getting hit. So say you have one heart left, you're in so much trouble. You have to sacrifice yourself for most of the mobs to get like any progress. Like the dark nuts in this game, oh my god, just everything gave me a headache. The bosses, not a big fan, but like y'all have already heard all the Zelda 2 hate, so I won't go too crazy about it. But this game, I played on stream for a bit, and then I had to finish the rest of it off stream because I was so frustrated. I was like, I cannot have the integrity of a chill streamer playing this game. Like, I gotta go rage about this elsewhere. Then I'll play for like, nope. Guys, I hate this. In conclusion with the gameplay itself wasn't very, once again, in-depth, you know, like no hate to the game. It was a different time. It's just the mobs and the bosses were so hard. The mechanics, oh my gosh, like play this game at your own risk. This is one of the Zelda games that most people just don't finish. They just don't finish, and that's totally fine. Absolutely fine. So the last boss of the last temple you do is a Thunderbird. Is that what it's called? I believe so. Thunderbird. And then you fight the like last boss of the game, which is normally Ganon, but it's Dark Link. Man, this guy, oh, it's crazy. I'm gonna have to throw in clips that aren't my own just because, like I said, I didn't stream all this, but like, oh my god, my head hurts thinking about it. But once you're done, you're done. And they have a second quest, just like the first Zelda game, where you can replay it more challenging. I have no idea why you would ever, has anyone ever even done that? Are you crazy? In the nicest way possible. Are you crazy? So in conclusion, I would have to give the gameplay like a 4 out of 10. I know, that's rude. I know it's rude. I get it. I don't feel like a lot of people are like Zelda 2 apologists though. For example, there was a certain Zelda game that I didn't enjoy that a lot of Zelda fans really enjoyed, and I got a lot of hate that I didn't like it, but I feel like there's not a lot of people who are like that with this game. So I feel like I might be in the clear just for this game. For the other games, go for it. But like for this game, I feel like I might be in the clear. The gameplay itself wasn't enough to keep me wanting to play with how hard and just annoying it was. And it's not even necessarily like, oh, you're a bad player, that's why it's hard. It's just quite literally made to just make you suffer. So yeah, gameplay 4 out of 10. Play at your own risk. Finally, the last category is side quests and side characters. There's no side quests once again, like in the first Zelda game. Villages are very lackluster. Like most of the people say one sentence or they don't say anything. Like, doesn't really matter. There are little Link dolls that you can collect throughout your playthrough that give you extra lives. So I would count that as kind of, you know, a side quest. Other than that, I feel like there's not really much. Like there's little things that you can do to help your gameplay out, such as that, but like as a whole, it's not like, hey, go do this for me, you know, that type of thing. Like going and fighting mobs to get more XP so you can get upgraded so your boss fights are easier, but like as a whole, not much. I would give it like a 2 out of 10 for side quests and characters. So with a 5 out of 10 in controls, a 5 out of 10 in storyline and lore, a 4 out of 10 in gameplay, and a 2 out of 10 in side quests and characters, we're looking at a 16 out of 40, which is a 40%, which is an F. Like I said, I'm hoping all the Zelda 2 apologists don't come and get me. It wasn't even like hating on an old game, you know, as somebody who plays 3D games only. Like, it's not even like that. This game was just objectively not good. And I feel like as a community, most people agree with that. I just don't know why they made it so difficult. That just wasn't needed. Like, make a hard mode. Make the second quest hard. You don't need to make the game itself a horrible experience for the players. But yeah, play this game at your own risk. Storyline and lore-wise, I do not believe you need to play this game at all if you are kind of going through the same journey I am and you're trying to play every game that matters to the lore of Zelda. This game definitely is not necessary. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry for all the hate. Honestly, as a series, there's only been maybe 3 games that I've really bashed, but as a whole, the Zelda franchise is absolutely wonderful. Like I said, I am playing Hyrule Warriors, the definitive edition, and I'm having a blast with it. Like, it's a great thing to do after Zelda 2 because this game is just button mashing and just stories and voiceovers and just a good time, you know, after Zelda 2, so it's really nice. I am planning on doing like a tier list of all the Zelda games in case you don't have time to watch each individual video. We will be doing just a tier list of every Zelda game that I've played, which is all of them, so stay on the lookout for that. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys all later. Bye everyone!